visible.
Excellent. So we'll just give everybody a second to come back in. I see people are rejoining, and you guys can go ahead and share the desktop. Yes, I can. Oh,
Testing 1, 2, 3.
yeah, I can hear you now, Rick. So you guys go ahead and share your desktop.
Okay, I'm going to click share my desktop now.
Yeah.
Okay, round 2. Here we go. Can we start the theme music again?
And look at that. There it is.
That was weird. That was a new thing for us also.
Isn't it? That was really interesting. But
yeah,
at least we know what the solution is.
Yeah.
So anyway, we are back.
Restart.
We're back on Tech20 Tuesday, and a restart. Here's Joey and Rick from School District 16, and talking about Smart Gallery Essentials.
Okay, sounds good. As I was just previously mentioning, Jeff, one of the great things about the Smart software is the fact that the gallery contained within the software has thousands of items that you can use to create interactive lessons, presentations, and so on. There's all kinds of images, clip art, background resources, multimedia files, and so on. What makes these resources even more powerful is the simple fact that they're copyright cleared. So if you do any amount of publishing, if you want to upload these to wikis, blogs, websites, whatever it might be, then you have copyright clearance to do so. It's also great because of the simple fact that all these are contained within the software, so you don't have to go to the internet to access them. Okay, so let's go into the gallery itself and look at what options we have there. So when I open up the gallery, which is on my side tab, see the top page is the top tab is the icon is the page sorter. And I have my attachments, which I can load here, and my properties, and then if I have my responders, they're here. But we're going to focus today on the gallery. And inside the gallery, it's broken into different parts. I've actually been opening up here, so I'll close a few things just so you can see what it would look like when you are using it. So most of the time when we open up, it's going to look like this. My content, Joey's going to look at that shortly. We'll look at this part. The Lesson Activity Toolkit, we're going to look at that in detail next week. And we'll also be looking at the Smart Exchange. And probably not today, but next week also we want to take a look at Google 3D Warehouse, because there's a lot of different options being made available now through Smart Notebook with regard to 3D presentation of graphics. And we will show you next week how to use that and how to make use of the Google Warehouse that's available to us also. But today, let's look at the Gallery Essentials. And when I open up the Gallery Essentials simply by clicking on the folder, I get a lot of subfolders. Since I've come from middle school and was teaching science originally, I'm going to go down to Science and Technology. I could either hit the plus sign or the folder. I'll hit the folder again. And I'll go to one that a lot of people like to focus on because it's really a sort of neat interactive going. I use it a lot when we're showing people who have not seen smart boards before the capability of them. I'll click Biology. And in doing so, you can see that I've got 118 pictures, 31 interactive and multimedia resources, and 19 files and pages. I'm going to go into the multimedia section since that's the most fun. I can either pull this out or double click Blood and Circulation, bring it out to the page, go full screen. And without even being connected to the internet, I now have this resource available to me. And if I'm a decent surgeon here, I'll see if I can put this lad back into proper shape so this heart will function. And keep in mind that as I'm doing this, I would be explaining to my students what each part is, what its function is. And also keep in mind that this is just one of, as Joey mentioned, over 6,000 resources, hundreds and hundreds of which are interactive multimedia. Hit the resuscitate, and then of course, I can then explain in detail what each of the labels mean and why each part of the heart is important and what it does for the heart. And also hit the reset button, and if I'm not having a good day as a surgeon, I've been out all night, at Dolan's Pub or wherever I'm at, put it back together again and hit the resuscitate, and it doesn't go well. So one thing we have found is students don't mind making mistakes because when they use the interactive resources available, they really enjoy it because, as you can see, even making a mistake can be fun and can be a great learning experience for students. So that's just one example of
what's available in the gallery.
Okay, I guess I'll jump in here. As Rick was mentioned, he just gave you through the science category. What's really neat as you go through, you can see that SMART provides the resources within their gallery for all subject areas. So it doesn't matter if you're teaching math, language arts, geography, science, sports, recreation. There's all kinds of things for a variety of subject areas. Rick mentioned that he formerly taught science. One of my subjects that when I was in the classroom as a classroom teacher here at Dr. Loge Middle School, I taught a lot of grade 8 math. The gallery is just very helpful for teaching a subject like math. And when you go in, as Rick mentioned, by pressing the plus sign, you can see all of the subfolders and the categories contained within mathematics. Basically, what's found in the gallery are all of the tools that will enable you to teach math at pretty much any level. More so right through K to 8, but even onto the high school. Something simple like the general resources, for example. If you click there, there's manipulatives, there's currency from all different countries. 100 square integer bars, even number lines. Many of you might recall at one time holding up the meter stick on the chalkboard and trying to draw out a homemade number line and divide everything up to try and get the integer or the spaces accurate. Nowadays, with something as simple as a smart gallery, there's all kinds of number lines found. If I want to go with here's one from -10 to +10, I can simply just drag it out onto my screen. Saves me a whole lot of time and effort right here. I have all of the tools and markers that I can use in the gallery as well to bring it out, or I can access my pens to show different intervals on the number line. There's also all kinds of blocks, tools, everything else. What I really like are how things are broken down in the strands, similar to we would see within the curriculum, your number, concepts, and operations, patterns and relations, shape, space, and measurement, and also statistics and probability. Let's just say, for example, that I'm teaching something at a very basic level, elementary or primary, and we're just going to take a look at number, concepts, and operations, for example, counting. And you can see some of them are really kind of simple images and things that are here. There's 99 items related to counting. A lot of them are just numbers with audio files linked to them. If I go under interactive multimedia, and if I scroll down to the bottom, we can see here 100 square. Now, some of you might use 100 square in class each day. And, it's nice when, copies are given out to students and they can access 100 square. I'm just going to drag this one out because this is an interactive 100 square right here. And it's also one that we like to use a lot of times when we're working with students. And in this case here, what we can do, I'm just going to see if I can move over here. I want to grab the pen for a second. Let's go full screen. And get my options here. And let's grab a pen. Okay. So if I want a pen here, and what I want to do, let's say I'm working with the kids on the multiples of 5, okay, or counting by 5s. What I can simply do is pick up my pen, and when I click on the tab at the bottom, and I'm just going to mark the number 5 in. And what you can see is all of the multiples of 5 will turn around and highlight in blue. I used a blue colored pen for that. So it makes it a lot easier. And then you can start to talk about patterns with the kids as you're doing it. They can see that each of the numbers has a digit ending in 0 or 5. You can start to go over all of the different, again, patterns and way that you could use multiples of 5. What I can also do, if I'm doing something with multiples or factoring, for example, making a switch pen color, let's say I want to look at also the multiples of 7. So what do 5 and 7 actually have in common? This time again, I'm just going to mark the number 7 in. When I do this, I can also see that because it was a red pen this time, all of the multiples of 7 were turned around. And you can also see where 7 and 5 intersect. So I can point out the simple fact that, okay, here we are at 35 and 70. So those are numbers that have 5 and 7 in common as factors. So nice interactive way. There's all sorts, as Rick mentioned, hundreds of different interactive files, probably well over 100 just in the math gallery alone. So stuff like this works really well. And this is the interactive content that can really help keep your students engaged.
If you want to do a more direct search, I can actually, for example, go in and just click up in the top part beside the magnifying glass, I can do a search. For example, I was doing a primary teacher, a class on the Three Little Pigs. I could actually do a search for Three Little Pigs, click on the magnifying glass, and then I get all of the content in the gallery related to the topic that I just searched for. So I don't have to go through the folders. For example, I've got related folders. There's also a whole folder on Little Red Riding Hood. There are 15 pictures. You can see that there are pictures of all the pigs. There's pictures of the different types of houses, the sticks, the straw, and 5 different poses of the big bad wolf. Now, there are also some notebook files and pages, 6 of them. And we just want to show you what one of the students did in our schools. And we find some of the most creative work ends up being done by our students. This is actually done by a student in grade 4, Jonathan. Jonathan is autistic, and visual learning is very important to him. And he actually created this himself, the story of the Three Little Pigs. I'll just take you through the first few slides very quickly. And you can see he created it as an animation just using the gallery items that I just showed you. So here we go. You can see that he has the pigs moving as they go to each of their houses to get ready for the arrival of the big bad wolf. And there's the wisest pig going to his brick house. The pig arrives, and then using some of the bubbles that are also in the gallery, the wolf starts to speak to the pigs and so on. Now, if you look at the page sorter, what Jonathan actually did is he used the pages that were available to him, put them in as his background scene and cloned them, and then added pictures and moved pictures from slide to slide after he had cloned the pages. In all, it took him 83 pages, 83 slides to create this really interactive, very engaging story of the Three Little Pigs. A very creative way of using the Smart Notebook Gallery.
Okay, I know the time's winding down here, Jeff, so we just want to share a couple last couple things here with you. One thing you can do, Rick mentioned at the very start, when you go to your gallery essentials, you can see here that in our gallery we have over 6,000 items, 6,708 items. Sometimes we see teachers realize that they don't have that many items. So what can they do to check to make sure that their gallery is up to date with the files? There's a couple different ways you can do it. One option is up at the top. If you click the help button, you can go under check for updates and activation. That will allow you to see if all of your gallery software is up to date. Another way that you can do it, again, is when you hit the gallery tab, just to the right of the search engine, there's a little wrench. And when you click on the wrench, you can see here there's some of the drop down relates to my content, which I'll just address here in a second. The other one just says check for updates. If you go check for updates, gallery essentials, it will just run through. It takes maybe about 30 seconds, and it will tell you if your gallery is indeed up to date. Okay. If it's not up to date, it'll show you what new files are out. You can simply click update, and it will update your gallery. And again, a matter of seconds, if not just maybe a minute or two. Just going to wrap up then, I guess, with my content. And I really like the my content section. It's just right above the gallery essentials, but it ties right into it. And my content is when you create something yourself, and you can add it to the gallery. So different items that you might use on a regular basis. One thing I would recommend that you do when you're doing my content is just over to the bottom left, you see something where it's checked called auto hide. Uncheck that box, and then whatever it is that you create, and maybe just really quickly, I'll draw a happy face or something here. Again, I'm just using a mouse pad here, so it's a little bit difficult, but whatever it is that I create, and if I want to save that, I can go over and click on my content. I can add different folders based on subjects that I might teach. In this case here, I'll just leave it at my content. And I can take that happy face that I've created, and I'm just going to simply drag and drop in the my content section. It will categorize it. It is a picture, so based on being a picture, it falls into the picture category. There it is. You see, I already drew one earlier. I can go in here and I can click on it, and it gives me an option to rename it as well. And it can also be exported as a collection file if I go to another computer, so I can do that as well. So it's really nice, and then if I want to use it again, I can simply just drag them out. So I'm basically creating my own gallery.
So just in wrapping up, Jeff, we've actually put on our last page what we're going to focus on next week, the lesson activity toolkit. And actually, you'll notice that there's a little bit of a different page capture, screen capture we have there. Maybe Joey can wrap up the session just by explaining what that's about.
Yeah, Rick and I are currently teaching a course at Miramichi Valley High School with a group of 9 grade 12 students. It's a Smart Learner certification course. So we've just been this whole second semester concentrating solely on SMART and training and certifying high school students. So they'll have some extra credentials as they move on to university. And one of the things that we've been working closely with Smart Technologies, and they've given our students have had permission to beta test the new Notebook 11 software. And that's kind of what you see on the screen capture right there. We hope to share some of that content and some of what the students are creating over the coming weeks. So stay tuned, and we hope to see people back again next week for the Lesson Activity Toolkit.
Wow. There's so much in SMART content, and teachers who use it well, it has a really powerful opportunity to really change how their classroom operates.
Yep, totally agree with that, Jeff. I think we've seen a lot of it, and there's so much more you can do. It's great to maximize the potential of the smartboard.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. If you have any questions right now, feel free to just turn on your mic and shout it out, or send us out a text a text chat, if you will, underneath the little humanoid figure on the side. And if you don't have any questions, you can always talk to Joey and Rick. You can find them through the global address book on your email. And Joey and Rick, I know, would be very happy to answer any of your questions, or just talk to any one of your local technology mentors. So that's it for this week. Look forward next week to seeing all about the Gallery Essentials, or the Lesson Activity Toolkit, which is, for me, one of the real hidden gems that a lot of teachers don't know about. And we will see you all hopefully again next week on another Tech20 Tuesday. So thank you all, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Bye, guys.